Today, drama means protege, drama means taking the hard road, and drama means running at full speed even if it means knocking patients over.
Drama means piercing, movie shows and all between. Laughs and talks every day with Mel and Ryan, come and play.
Hi, welcome to DramaMeans. Today we're talking about the 2025 Korean drama Trauma Code, Heroes on Call.
And first, a bit of a summary. A doctor with experience on the front lines in war joins a hospital's struggling ER with the hopes of transforming it into a world-class trauma center. But his methods ruffle the feathers of just about everyone. So is this Korea's answer to ER? And The Pit and these kind of highbrow medical dramas? Because we've seen K-dramas go the hospital route with hospital playlist and things like this, but this felt a little more serious in a way than some of the other ones.
I guess, but I feel like it has plenty of comedy in it. But don't forget that this actually came out before the
Pit.
The Pit,
Yeah.
and
Pulse
and Doc and all those other hospital
dramas.
And I'm wondering if, with Netflix, this did really well. It did really well on Netflix. It did really well in Korea. It had really high ratings. So who knows? Maybe this caused the big medical show, wave.
It's true. There are so many medical shows on right now. You just start naming them. You go Dr. Odyssey and Doc and Pulse and The Pit and then you get into the other K-drama that released with the Resident Playbook, which is kind of the spin-off of Hospital Playlist.
Yeah.
So there's so much going on. I think it's just kind of one of those genres that's having a moment.
Yeah. And the thing is, we see these waves all the time where it's during a wave, it's like rebirth, and every single drama that's out is like a rebirth drama, and then time travel and alien stuff. It's just that there's somehow like a wave.
Well, if one's a success, then other people want to copy that success, and then there's the twist on the genre, and everything has to go through its evolution. But I thought this one felt like a really interesting attempt. Actually, I'd go back. I would compare this one a little more to House than I would compare it to ER, just because of who the main character is and the way he comes in to the show is, I'm here. I don't care what you think. The medicine is the most important, and if you don't want to get on this train, get the hell out the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love Ji Hoon as an actor, and it's kind of fun to see him in this this type of role.
What else have we seen him in? I wasn't as familiar with him.
Well, my first time watching him was Gong, which is the if Korea had like a monarchy.
I remember that one, yeah.
And so that was that was his young idol-esque days, teen heartthrob kind of, and now he's this grown rough and tumble man, after he had his bout of scandals.
Like you do.
Yeah, he came back and really was doing very gangster movies.
Well, we do see that from time to time where an actor is known to play a certain role. Maybe you do nothing but love stories and you want to kind of reinvent yourself, especially as you age. You can't play the same roles in your 40s that you can play in your 20s. And so you see actors kind of reinvent themselves. And a lot of them, the choice is older means grittier. You see that a lot.
Yeah.
The one weird one that came to me, I can't remember. It was Jason Patric, who had done a bunch of rom-coms and then was in Speed 2 and then took a big break and comes back in this movie Narc, where it was so dark and so gritty. It's the grittiest of the gritty, drug cop films. It's oh yeah, Jason Patric, he's hireable now because he's a different human being. It makes me just think of that. And I know you have no idea who that is.
I have no idea who Jason Patric is.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You have no idea what the story. Maybe someone out there on the internet can give you a clue. Don't watch Speed 2 is all I'm saying.
Ew, really?
No, it's horrible. He just happens to be in it.
Oh, okay.
He was trying to reinvent himself as an action star that didn't work, so he went gritty. My point is, when you get old, you get gritty. That's what we're seeing here.
Yes. Anyways, but I really, really like Ji Hoon's acting, and he did so well in this. He had those like cute moments. I don't know. Like, I know he was supposed to be an a-hole in the whole drama, but I didn't really think he was that a-hole-y.
Well, he's a-hole-y in the way he does things his way, and he's very inflexible with how he does it. And he just happens to be more right than he is wrong. Like, I don't know if we ever see in the series an instance where he's just flat out wrong.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And so I think that's what makes him, the quote unquote asshole, is that he's just unapologetic, which is an asshole trait. But the show kind of goes a long ways to try to make him feel justified in all of his assholery.
Yeah. Like, you know how he's like supposedly a genius, right? But then there are times when, like, your classic genius is like, they don't care about, like fame and publicity and all that stuff. He just wants the medicine and saving people, which is his priority for sure. But he also has that like, ooh, I need to dress up for the camera and I need to look good. Like, just those things that's like very normal, but then you don't expect him to be normal because he's like a genius, this like master trauma doctor, and so like I like that there's like aspects of him where it's like he just seems more relatable and like likable.
They definitely try to flesh him out more than just the guy who's work, work, work. That's all I care about, work. I am a robot. Like, they try to make him more of a character. It gave him a vanity.
Yeah.
Gave him things that, he would make him more relatable so that we can kind of go along with him. Because I think if you don't, he's just an asshole.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, what is this character other than kind of a cardboard cutout of a brilliant surgeon? And it's not actually that interesting. Like, it's the quirks that make the characters 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. So like comparing to like a character like House, where he is very like unlikable, and you don't get to see like that much of the likable aspects of House, I definitely prefer Beck's character.
Yeah, and I think they do a good job of making the audience see it from his perspective, like how screwed up the hospital system is. It's a little caricature-y in how mustache twisty the hospital administration is and how much they care about budget over everything else. It's caricature-y, but it's not untrue. And so they helped us see things from his side going, well, yeah, he should be an asshole. He should take these guys down. He should revamp this trauma center. Like, that's for us. I mean, if you're in a car accident, you want good doctors to be able to take care of you. So he has a point. I think they do a much better job with this. Where in House, they don't care.
Yeah.
Like, House's likability is the fact of who he is an asshole to.
Yeah.
Like, he's an asshole to people we wish we could be assholes to.
Yeah.
And that was kind of how they made him likable in that show, which is very different, I think, than this one.
Yeah. I do think because the whole like painting the system of like how people literally like would stop a surgery from happening, like literally like, hey, you can't do the surgery that's going to save this life even though we're in the hospital, like that to me seems so like, I don't know, I'm just like sitting there, I'm like, that's like, that can't be true. Like, they would literally like let this person die in the middle of their hospital and block their way from going to the operation room for just
because that doctor is being investigated or something.
Go petty, It's just, that makes no sense to me. And so because it seems so like caricature and like so fake that I'm like, I don't know, and maybe it is real, but it just feels like really they would like risk someone dying than to like let them like go into surgery. Like, that's so crazy to me.
I think, and I don't know how the Korean medical system works, and I don't know all the inner workings of the American medical system, but I do know that there's a lot of bureaucracy that's involved in our healthcare that shouldn't be. Now, is the way they portrayed it accurate in this show? I think from time to time, probably not. But I think the way they're trying to highlight the issue is make you angry, make us, wait, that can't possibly be the way this is it? So maybe in the kind of soap opera-esque, heightening, making everything very hyperbolic, like, is it accurate? Probably not. But to their overall thesis statement is that bureaucracy and budget plays way too big a role in the healthcare of human beings. That is definitely a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I think sometimes we think of that as an American thing. And so to see a Korean show talk about it in the context of their society and it kind of ring true for what's happening here in our country, we go, oh, this is a bigger problem than just one we have. Like, this seems to be a problem in other places that we don't often think about, because when's the last time you were in Korea and needed medical attention? Like, It's pretty rare for, you'd be on vacation somewhere and need medical attention. So we just don't get a window to that, which was kind of cool here.
Yeah. I also like a character trait that I had noticed with Beck is that he never lies. And you expect, like, oh, what he's saying seems so, like, kind of far off that you're like, oh, he's probably, like, fibbing here or, like, just making a random statement, right? But, like, then you get to know, and then he goes deeper into his story and you realize he's never lied about any of the things that he has said before. Like, if he doesn't answer you, that means he doesn't want to answer you. He doesn't want you to know. But, like, he never actually, like, tells a lie, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's very straightforward. And I think you have to be. I think that makes him a step too shitty if he's also underhanded. Like, you can be an asshole. And I think the rules of being an asshole successfully in life, let me teach some life lessons to those out here.
They're training you to be an asshole.
To successfully be an asshole in life, you have to be very, very upfront, and you have to be never wrong.
Yeah.
And then I think you can kind of be whatever kind of asshole you want. If you're upfront about it and honest and you're never wrong. Now, those three things are very difficult. So be an asshole at your peril, because when you are wrong, you screwed. Because no one's coming to help you, bro.
Yeah. I just thought it was kind of cool that, like, oh, he's trying to get Young to, like, sympathize and, like, fall for his scheme. You would think that he would, like, make up a story to, like, get the tears out of Young, but, like, he never lied, and he tells the actual story. He plays it off really lightheartedly, so you don't really think that it's the truth, but then it totally is.
Yeah, with Young's recruitment into the trauma department, like, he never tells him this is going to be easy. He never tells him, like, oh, you should do this because this is, like, the best path for doctors. He's saying, you should do this because I want you to do this. And I think you would be good at it, so, like, I think you should do this. And I'm going to take you under my wing. You're lucky. Again, all truths. Yeah. But he never once tells him, this is the easy way. This is going to be a breeze. This is going to be the best route to promotion. This is going to be the best route to money. Like, he never promises any of that kind of bullshit, which the other doctors kind of, hey, like, stay in, was it proctology or whatever? They're butt doctors.
Yeah.
Stay in this because it's, kind of an easy, stable life and nothing really changes from day to day. Like, that's where you want to be. Trust me. It was like, this is a stepping stone to greater things within the hospital. And the other guy, Beck, is not promising that at all.
Yeah.
He's promising we're going to do really good stuff and we're going to do worthwhile things. I think Jan's character growth in this is very interesting. I think
it is interesting. I personally felt like it was too slow. Like, like, you don't get that step by step, like, he's growing a little bit at a time, right? Mm-hmm. It's, he doesn't grow, and then, bam, he's grown.
Yeah, I see that. Part of me, and maybe this is just my own personal, like, how my brain processes information, is I kind of feel that way in my own life when I'm trying to learn a skill. I feel like I don't get it, I don't have it, then it clicks. And then I get it. Like it was like that when I tried to learn how to snowboard. Like I didn't get it, boom, clicks. I got it. And so like that's where I totally see your argument of it. It was a little too abrupt for it. It's like, and he's a good doctor now. You know?
It was just like he was so bumbly in the beginning. And then all throughout, the middle, Beck gives him chances, asks him questions, and he's always like, he just doesn't like quite ever have the right answer ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then right up until the end when, yes, it matters the most, which I like that character growth at the end too. It's just that it was like, it felt really abrupt because he never like, you never see him like be in the middle.
He almost feels like a different character just suddenly.
Yeah.
Like, wait, is this the same guy? He's just, now he can speak smoothly.
Well, he never speaks smoothly.
No, but you know what I mean? Like speak knowledgeably, I guess is what I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I can see that. And maybe that's a symptom of not having a ton of episodes. Like how many episodes is this? 10, 12? It's not a ton, right?
It was, I can't remember if it was 8 or 10.
Yeah, so they probably could have done a better gradual character, improvement with him. So that might be part of the issue is just lack of episodes. You need to wrap it up and give him something. But
I mean, they did get a lot in with 8 episodes.
No, a lot happens in this show.
Yeah.
But I do think you're right. Like the character growth, you want to kind of see like milestones. You want to see, his baby's first steps, baby's first run. Like, oh, he learned to swim. And it kind of is just kind of like drowning. Okay, I can swim now.
Yeah. You know how much I absolutely love, like, from rivals to friends.
Yes, it's your jam.
It's not even like enemies. Like, a lot of people like enemies to lovers. I'm not huge on enemies to lovers, but I love enemies or rivals to friends. And I just love how Han is basically, like so against Beck. You took away my protege, all this stuff. And then, yes, Beck saves his daughter, mm-hmm. which is like a huge thing. I can see why, he's given in and like, respects the guy now. But I love how, like, they're now talking to each other and then they like go to each other's offices. And then the next thing you know, they're eating together and they're like having powwows and then like Han becomes like the guy that Beck trusts to take over the trauma,
when he was gone.
Yeah. And it's just like, I love seeing that. Like and it's not like they're so like, oh, we're such good best friends. It's like they still kind of like snip at each other but it's just like they're like now friends and it's so funny and cute and even though Han's character is like so
obnoxious.
So obnoxious, so over the top, so loud, like holy shit.
But I do love that moment where he has to run the ER while Beck is gone and he like is trying to like channel Beck and he's like, what would Beck do? What would he do if he was here? And he's just like, you idiot, get over here. And he just starts like emulating him. Like I thought that was really funny and it shows he's been paying attention.
Yeah.
I will tell you the thing I don't love. This is my favorite dynamic in the show probably is Han and Beck just because of where they start and where they end up. Uh-huh. And also I think Han's character gets to grow a lot and like he kind of is proud of himself when he's able to like, this guy would have never stepped foot in the ER, let alone take charge of the ER before Beck shows up.
Yeah.
And then he does, and he steps in and he does it. And all the things that Beck has been promising Yang about, this is work worth doing, Han gets to feel that a little bit. Yeah. So I love all that. The thing I don't love is this idea that you can't feel empathy until something affects you personally.
Yes.
Like you can't see it from someone else's perspective until your daughter's in the hospital and she needs a surgery. And I get it, like that's the drama and that's the, like, I'm not saying they shouldn't have done that. I'm saying about our society right now where we live, it's such a massive problem that people can't empathize with something until, oh, it affected me. Well, now I have all the empathy in the world. Of course you do. It's easy to have empathy when you're affected.
Yeah.
But you can't put yourself in someone else's shoes and go, oh, man, that happened to me. No, no, no. Fuck you. You suck. And you're different than me. Like, it's just, it's sad.
And the thing is, maybe this drama is trying to show that. And, like, it gives you a huge example, you know, and because it is so over the top, and I think a lot of times when dramas and projects are like so over the top, it's trying to smack you in the face and be like, hey, this is, you know, like, you need to learn a lesson from this.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, it's the simplest way to learn that lesson is it comes home. Like, that's why I'm not mad at it for doing it.
Yeah.
Because in drama, the simplest way to bring a character around in any genre is you have something directly affect that camera. That's why we have what we call like emotional connections. Like when we're doing a story, when we're looking at an A plot, when we're doing a medical show, it's case of the week. We're not just like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if someone had a broken bone? It's like, no, how does that broken bone affect the emotional well-being of one of our core characters?
Yeah.
And why are they emotionally invested? Not just, I'm a doctor and I have to do my job, but I'm emotionally invested in this character because of a reason. So that's just a thing that TV does. So no hate towards them. It just reinforces that, like, I wish people could just for 1 second step back and go, you know what, maybe having an emergency room department would be a good idea. Maybe let's just hey, maybe that's a good idea. Yeah. No, it doesn't make any money. Cut it. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. So something that I kind of don't like, and it's not a huge thing, but it's that Beck has no character arc.
Not really.
He is your main lead, but he's such a superhero that he's already, like, perfect to the point where, like, you don't really see that vulnerability. He doesn't learn anything. He doesn't grow. Like, all the character growth, you know, is from Young and even Han and even Gangsta.
Gangsta.
Yeah. But you don't get that with Beck at all. And
no.
And as your, like, main protagonist, it's a little weak.
I agree. I think that they don't work very hard for any character turns for him. He's pretty much what you see is what you get. He doesn't really change much from episode 1 to episode 10, other than his trust in the characters around them. Like, the different characters earn his trust so that he can, you know, pass things off to Yang at the end. And, you know, he kind of feels comfortable of like, all right, I don't have to be the only one in the ER working. But from a personal growth standpoint, they're definitely lacking any development for him.
Yeah.
I do like the I don't know if we want to call it a twist, but the reveal about Choi, who has been the biggest dick hospital director to him the whole time, the worst hospital bureaucrat you've ever seen. And Beck basically tells him, like, when you were young, you were a rock star surgeon. You were a rock star doctor. And I saw what a good doctor you were, and you made me want to be a doctor. Like, that really surprised me.
Yeah, I did not see that coming at all.
In a great way.
Yeah, and the thing is, he tells this story like a few different times, like little tidbits of the same story throughout the drama, and like the fact that you get the kind of the end, you know, of that story at the end of this drama is like really nice, and it's like that, and it's so like, of course you're, you know, he's gonna win now. Like, when you bring that up and you're like, hey, you're the reason why I wanted to become a doctor, you know, and it's just like, oh shit, like, what the fuck have I been doing?
You know, also Choi has just lost sight of what it means to be a doctor. Like, you're so involved in your own BS that you forgot the whole point of the hospital actually isn't to make money. Yes, it's a business, blah, 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 capitalism, whatever. But we're here to help people. And you used to believe that too, dude.
Yeah.
You've just been on this side, on the bean counting side, for too long. So I thought that was a great way to kind of bring things, I wouldn't say full circle, but kind of bring things around in a surprising way that was very satisfying.
I think sometimes, as we said before, since it's so over the top, and mainly like the comedy aspect is so over the top, and it just sometimes it's incohesive in terms of like how emotional it is when, like, they're dealing with, patients and family members that have, their family that's dying, and all this stuff happening, and then there's this like weird, like, again, loud, over the top comedy. It doesn't quite flow, and I don't think they found like a good way to like incorporate like comedic aspects in the drama without just it like slapping you in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's so jarring, I feel like.
Yeah, they had a little bit of a tone issue with it wanting to be a gritty hospital drama, but then also it's like keeps reminding you that it's soap. And you're like, if you could just get rid of some of these soap elements that are so soapy, that are so soap over the top and a little silly, and really lean into the gritty.
Yeah.
I think at times, like, there's nothing that says that gritty can't also be funny, but it feels like the type of humor you have to kind of adjust.
Yeah.
To make it feel appropriate, I guess I would say.
Yeah. But I do like their little Scooby Gang, their like team. And
you get to see how they're kind of assembled little by little and how they each kind of come around.
Yeah. And it's just, they're all likable. And I even like at the end when they like kind of have that last recruit on the military base.
Right. Yeah.
And then like, I knew that, eventually that, that guy was going to join their group at the maybe season 2 or whatever. But to show it again, like at the end, it was cool. I liked that.
Yeah, I thought them coming together was nice. Like that. It's interesting because you want to do over the top bad guys. Like, I mean, I'm not saying you want to do it, but that's what they wanted to do. They want to have these bad guys that were mustache twisty to really like show the bureaucracy and how like they wanted to make you angry. Yeah. I think that was they really wanted to make the people watching this angry at the medical industrial complex. And then you add the over the top kind of comedy element to it.
Yeah, I found some of that, like, the villains or of the show, like really illogical.
Yeah, no, it's silly. Some of it just flat out silly.
Yeah.
And like they're just in their office all day plotting against this one doctor. Like, don't you guys have a hospital to run?
Yeah, like they're not really working or doing anything.
They're just sitting around a little table being like, how can we screw over this one guy? It's like, get over yourselves.
Well, yeah, it is like, it is so weird that like one person is so,
Yeah, the
like,
bane of their existence.
Yeah, like literally, like your hospital is at a standstill because this one guy needs to be like shown, who the authority, who's alpha dog, and it's such a dick measuring contest.
Like, this is not a new plot line to like hospital dramas. Like, I mean, House had Cuddy, and if you've watched other medical dramas, there's always the administrator that's telling the doctors they can or can't do something. I think the thing that takes me out of it here is the little bad guy powwows. Like, just going in their office with the two of them, like the scheming. Like, when we watch period dramas and the costume dramas and like the schemers are just constantly scheming.
Yeah.
It feels like kind of a remnant of soap that can go away. Like, we don't need to see that scheming.
Yeah.
Like, they can show up in the ER and be dicks and cut his legs out from under him and suspend him and stop his surgeries. But when we get to see like that, we should do that. Oh gosh, what are we going to do next? Like, it's so cringy and snivelly that it stops feeling real.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone out there has ever been part of a bad guy powwow where you sit around and go, oh, no, we're going to do, like, please let us know. But I don't think that's real. But I think that contributed to the tone problem of like, you have the overtop comedy and you have the kind of loud, boisterous characters that are straight out of kind of some sort of K-drama comedy. And then you have these snivelly bad guys that are straight out of, the costume drama court scenes. And then you try to do the gritty ER stuff. This is a weird Frankenstein now. You're taking some parts that may not all go together. It feels like they needed to kind of look at it and go, okay, how do we make this feel like it's all the same show? Okay, just for a second. If you worked at a hospital, and I know, you want to make money and you've got budget, but like, are you really like, you know what I don't want to do? Save any lives. Like, I want to actively not save lives. Like, that's how much this budget thing, like, it's weird. I don't think any hospital administrator would be like, sir, what do you want to do today? Avoid saving as many lives as possible. Like, what? What? So let's go out of my way to ground the rescue helicopters. What? For what purpose? You still gotta send an ambulance out there? Like, what are you doing? This makes no sense.
Yeah, it's just, but it's like, they have no, I know their whole thing is like the budget and how like they're so over budget, or not even over budget, it's just like certain departments don't get as much budget if they have a rescue helicopter. But it's like, why all this stuff doesn't really like benefit you to the point where you have to like ruin people's lives, like, because those people would do things to benefit themselves, right?
Yeah.
But when you don't really see what the benefit is, like, it's just literally like, oh, you're just doing it to like hurt people. It's so weird.
Yeah. I think like the part I understand from the bureaucracy standpoint is like, oh, ERs don't make money. Like, they're the necessary, almost public service. They're not going to make money. Like, plastic surgery makes money. Elective surgeries make money. Maternity wards make money. But, like, ERs, I get it. They don't make any money. So they're trying to be, like, cheap and stuff. But then it goes way off the deep end into silly town.
It's, like, almost like, it's just, like, murder then.
Yeah. You're just like, let's just go out and kill. Like, if like, instead of ambulances, let's send tanks to car crashes. Then we'll just blow the people up on the street, and they'll never show up to the ER. Problem solved. Bullets are way cheaper than stitches.
Are they?
I don't know. I bet I could sell that in the board meeting on this show. Got this great idea. We hire mercenaries instead of ambulance drivers. And they show up to really, really bad car wrecks and train derailments, and they kill everybody so that they never come to the hospital. And if they never come to the hospital, it's not our problem. Budget saved. You're welcome.
Season 2's problem.
Yeah, season 2. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be trauma code. Mercenaries. MD.
Anyway.
Also, the other tone thing, which is, this is all the way the other direction, but when they go to, like, the war zone camp,
God.
And it gets really dark and military for a second.
Yeah.
That was like a tone in like the complete opposite direction. Then cut back to the hospital and Han is being like, shut up, everybody! I'm loud and obnoxious!
Yeah.
Like, it was, so they're kind of all over the place here.
Yeah. I also find this, I mean, maybe because most of the people having to go to military and stuff that is or can, like, be a military whatever.
Oh, like badass, you mean?
Yeah, I guess. But it's so...
Yeah. I would be happy that was all in his backstory.
Yeah.
And I didn't need to see it come to the front story. I get why they wanted to do it, but it felt a little... It felt a little cartoony, honestly. Even in the fact that it went in this dark way. It's like, okay, now here's the cartoon mercenaries who, like, is that how mercenaries work? Like, there's just this other group who goes to war zones and, like, they do war, and they're like embarrassing enough that if it's like public that he worked for them, then it's like bad. You know what I mean? Like at one point it's his secret that he worked for this group, but they're not bad enough where they're like a secret organization.
Yeah.
So like, wait, who are these guys? Are they
also they're like so like they're so rich that like
yeah,
they have all that equipment and such a huge base. I don't know.
well, I mean, like they're a private military contractors. We use them all over the world. But like what are they? Are they a secret military contractor, or are they just a normal military contractor that we all know exists? Like we all know what Blackwater, like who are these people that they are both secret and not secret and are like, oh, he should never work for them, but he like, yeah, it's totally fine, he works for them. Like they're the history of this group started making not much sense.
Yeah. I think mainly though his secret was supposedly he's killed people before. From like, okay.
Weird that like in a war zone people would get killed.
Yeah.
That's crazy pants.
Yeah. But that was what he was threatening Beck with, was that, oh, because he belonged to this mercenary group, he's murdered before. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, if you say so, bud.
So I do like how I mean, it was a little like, oh, he got some shrapnel, or Beck got some shrapnel stuck in him, and then Young has to like do the surgery. I do like that, like, I think they did a lot of things well.
Mm-hmm.
If they ever introduce something, they call back to it, you know, and it's just that it has like some smart moments, and they had it a lot in like the ending of this, where like Young's taking the reins, he has to do the surgery. When Beck comes out of his surgery and he wakes up and stuff, and like the moment when he actually calls Young Dr. Young
instead of butthole.
Yeah. Like that, those are really good moments. That was like, oh, it's the perfect timing. It, you know, it's just, it's so like invigorating for Young's character.
Yeah. No, I think that, like you say, if they set something up, even if it didn't feel like a deliberate setup, like the whole calling him butthole the entire time, but they've set that up in order for him to show a moment of respect by calling him Dr. Young.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that they don't have to ruin it. He can still call him butthole whenever he wants, but he's given him that moment of respect, and that's all it has to be.
Yeah.
And it's enough for Young to be like, oh my God, I like arrived, you know, and he gets to have that kind of proud moment of he did good, and now your mentor is showing you recognition, like huge moment for him, especially because he like chose the mentor, and that was the whole thing. Like his character arc builds to that moment, and so it means a lot. So I like that a lot. I thought that was really well done, and they do that throughout the kind of show where, like you say, if they set something up, they pay it off and try to make it feel satisfying by the end.
Yeah. So we forgive the over-the-top moments, the over-the-top villains, because your core group is what's enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, and I think everyone's likable. I think the team is fun to come together. I think that was fun to see them come together. And, like, the bad guys do get their comeuppance, like the lazy anesthesiologist and the snivelly, you know, Choi's little assistant. I can't remember his name. Hong.
Yeah.
Like, he gets he gets in trouble, and Choi kind of has to, like, basically acknowledge that Beck's going to get his way. So, like, overall, it's fairly satisfying. Now, can I talk about my biggest gripe?
Okay.
My very biggest one, because now we're kind of nearing the end. And it's dumb, but you mentioned it in the intro, is the running. And they made it a point that Beck runs everywhere, and he makes Young run everywhere.
Yeah, and the reason why Beck chose Young is because Young always ran with urgency.
Yeah, and it's like, like, you're in good shape, you can run, you're hired. Like, it was kind of almost that cheap, superficial kind of thing. Like, not because you're a good doctor, but like, yeah, you got good legs, you can run. I've been in a lot of hospitals. I've worked on medical shows. Hospital professionals don't run. They do not run. You run, and you run into someone else, and you cause pileups, which they do on this show. They're running around corners, knocking into each other. It's more trouble than it's worth. Like, everyone in a hospital moves with urgency, and they move with purpose, and there's no wasted movement, but they don't run. And so, like, I get that they're doing it for effect in the show, but like every time they did it, it just kind of like made me cringe a little. I was like, ugh, it's just so not a thing.
Yeah. Because you can hurt people.
Running is sloppy.
Yeah.
Running is not precise. Hospitals don't need speed. Hospitals need precision and efficiency. Like, they always say, like, oh, when you do things fast, you do them sloppy, so then you end up slow. No, you do things with purpose, you do things with precision, that makes you fast. You don't start from a place of speed. So, like, even though that's such a dumb thing to, like, hang over me in every episode, I'm like, why are they running? Stop running. Cranky old man from my couch. It did bother me. But I get it. I get why they did it. It was their thing. But it's a dumb thing.
Yeah, it wasn't true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had totally forgot that I had talked about that.
You brought it up.
I did bring it up, which is true. I also am like, a lot of different medical shows, you see like the running of like with the bed, and they're running off to surgery or like ER, and they're doing like resuscitation while they're pushing the gurney into ER and stuff like that. But it's like that bed is so freaking heavy.
Yeah, those beds are heavy and hard to turn, and if you get them going the wrong way, getting them going the right way again is difficult. Yeah. So you can't run with that thing. You have to move with purpose and control, and that will save you time in the end. Because like the time you're going to save running isn't actually going to make a difference in patients' lives most of the time. The 4 seconds you saved by running and not walking briskly, congrats, but you could cause so much more trouble
and damage.
Yeah, a lot of talk about a lot of talk for running. Such a dumb thing to be talking about, but like, I don't know, got in my craw.
But yeah, but ultimately, this show has been enjoyable. We mentioned a lot of medical shows, at the beginning of this episode, and honestly, this is the only medical show that I was able to stomach.
Oh yeah, I actually enjoyed watching this versus like watching an episode of some of those other ones that I don't need to name by name. I couldn't turn off fast enough.
Yeah. So this was very enjoyable. The actors were good in it.
Some of those other shows are astounding in the fact that you hate every character. Like, how do you watch a show and hate every single character? Everyone. Even the background actors. I'm like, I hate the way you look too, just because I'm so cranky.
Yeah.
But this show, I liked everybody.
Yeah.
Like, eventually. And I mean, obviously, I'm not in love with the bad guys. And, like, Han's annoying and loud. I get it. But he's kind of a big, lovable idiot by the end.
Yeah. I've been having a hard time watching dramas where, like, the actors just keep yelling all the time.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
I don't understand. You're like having a normal conversation, yet you're just screaming for no reason. And yeah, I have not been able to watch those. So I'm actually surprised I was able to get through this one. Luckily your main core group is good enough and enjoyable to watch that I could tolerate some of the other characters. But yeah, for me, I think I would, gosh, I don't know. Part of me is like in the buffet line because I did like it, but it did have quite a few things that I didn't like, so it was kind of like on board karaoke. So.
Is that your official rating?
I don't know. I'm an in-betweener again.
You do this every week. Pick one. We have this whole scale, and there's no half scale. There's no 7.5 on our scale. It's on board karaoke or in the buffet line. You made the scale.
I know. I'm gonna say in the buffet line. I liked it enough for it to be in the buffet line.
Well, then I will split it and say onboard karaoke, because that's what I'm kind of feeling. Like, I enjoyed it. I think it's a well done show. Would I watch a season 2? Probably. And I liked all the characters, so I'd say onboard karaoke. I don't think it's brilliant, and I think sometimes it's silly and dumb, but for the most part, watchable. Absolutely. So this week's recommendation, I'm going to recommend an author. We're going to stay on the medical theme, and the author's name is Atul Gawande. He is a doctor, ER doctor, who has written a host of books. I think his first book was called Complications. His second book was called Better. His third book was called The Checklist Manifesto, and his most recent book is called Being Mortal. If you enjoy medical dramas and you enjoy, stories from the ER and kind of a peek behind the curtain in medicine, these books are fantastic. Especially Being Mortal, which talks about end of life decisions and how much medical thought, care, and money goes into the last 5 years of our lives, and how we could probably make it better if we were a little more prepared for it as individuals, as families, as communities, all these things. And then going back to Complications, it talks about him being an internist and all the mistakes he made and how completely unprepared he was for the medical field. And really, really highly recommend all 4 of his books. Again, it's Atul Gawande, and his books are sold everywhere books are sold. So check those out.
Yep. And that is it for us. Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time.